I'm going to do a supplement review of all the supplements that I take. I'm not getting paid by any of these companies. I'm just telling you which supplements make my blood work look excellent according to my doctor. The first supplement is a multivitamin from Snack Nutrition. I take 2 a day instead of the 1 that's recommended. The bottle lasts 30 days. My doctor, I get blood work every 3 months, and she tells me the same thing every time. I don't know what vitamins you're taking, but whatever they are, they're making your levels look excellent. Just keep taking them. The second product that I take from Snack Nutrition is ZMA. This is a great product. Now, the most important thing to remember with this product is you have to take it on an empty stomach, and you cannot have eaten for at least an hour before you take it. So you need to take an hour you need to take it an hour after you eat, and then you head to bed. It'll give you some of the greatest sleep that you've ever gotten. You'll get really vivid dreams. That's how you know it's working. Your skin will start to look a lot better. The circles under your eyes will be gone. I'm almost positive that it raises your normal growth hormone levels naturally, without any junk, without any anabolics. It's a great product. Again, my doctor always comments on how my levels are excellent, and I think this definitely attributes to that. It's an excellent product. The magnesium, from what I read, relaxes your brain and lets you get into a really good night of sleep. The third product I take is Bone Builder by Metagenics. It's kind of pricey, but it's 180 tablets, so I take 3 a day. It'll last me 3 months. Now, if you're taking a multivitamin, you probably don't have to take the Bone Builder. I just like taking an extra supplement for calcium. And look at it this way. If you're a younger person that still hasn't grown fully, it's probably going to help you reach your growth potential as far as height-wise. Your bones will grow bigger and stronger, along with a good diet. I never cycle this product. I stay on year-round. Just like the ZMA, I stay on year-round. And just like the multivitamin, I stay on year-round. I never come off of it. I never cycle these products. Now, here is creatine monohydrate. You don't have to have a specific brand, but this is the one product that I do come off and on. I will cycle this product, and this is what I do. From May until September, I will not take any creatine whatsoever, because I believe if you're 30 years of age and up and you take creatine, you're going to put on some weight gain. I've been off for about 20 days, and I've lost already about 11 or 12 pounds. If you look at some of my other videos, I'm a little more bloated, and it's definitely from the creatine. If you're a younger person, teenager, or you're in your 20s and you're playing sports, I don't think you're going to have that bloating issue. I don't think you're going to gain that much weight just because your metabolism is so fast. You probably put on between 3 and 6 pounds, not 11 pounds. Trust me, I was 11 and a half, 12 pounds heavier, and the only thing that I changed wasn't my workout, wasn't my nutrition, as I stopped taking creatine. So again, from May until September, I will not take creatine just because I want to look slimmer for the summertime. Then as soon as the wintertime comes on, I go back on it. I really think that creatine is performance enhancing, and I'll tell you why. If you take creatine, and let's say you could bench 225 25 times, no doubt in my mind that if you take creatine religiously, you'll bench it 35 times consistently. I don't believe in the loading phase. Your receptors can only take so much. I just take 1 scoop, put it in my protein shake after my workout, and I take it for those months. It definitely puts some weight on me. It definitely makes me somewhat stronger, and I really take it for energy. I do feel like, for whatever the reason, it just gives me more energy, so that's why I take it. And this other product is kind of interesting. It's Dr. Berg Adrenal Stress Support Advanced Formula. Again, Dr. Berg Adrenal Stress Support Formula Advanced. Now, I hear a lot of young people and they'll say, oh, I smoke weed, I vape, I have anxiety, I can't sleep, all that garbage. Well, why would you want to put that garbage in your body to relieve you of anxiety, put you to sleep, etc., etc.? If you're always in fight or flight mode, meaning you're constantly stressed, that means your adrenals will be stressed, they will be fatigued. And I remember the first time I took this, literally, I took it and I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt like your adrenal glands sit on your kidneys, and I literally felt them like relax. And it was an amazing feeling, but I only felt it that one time, that feeling. But every time I take this, I usually work out later at night. So when I'm done with my workout, I have my dinner and I take my adrenal stress support, and it just takes the edge off and makes me mellow and calm. It's a great product. This is also another product that I don't cycle. I stay on it year round. And last but least, I was taking a pre-workout supplement with like NO Explode that had all kinds of garbage in it. And this was a few months ago, and I got a call from my doctor, and she was, she scared me. She's like, your blood work came back that it looks like you have colon cancer. And I was shocked. I was stunned. I didn't say anything for a couple seconds. And then she followed it up with, are you taking pre-workout with nitric oxide? And I said, yeah, why? And she goes, I see this all the time when guys take this, guys, girls, it gives you a false flag like you have cancer. She's like, you got to come off it, and in a month, come back for blood work, and we'll go from there. I came off it, got my blood work, everything was fine. That went in the garbage can. I never took it again, but I kind of wanted something for pre-workout because I liked the energy that it gave me. So this is a Umzu product, if you could see it. And what I noticed about this is when I first bought it, I was like, oh, this is garbage. I wasted my money, because it's not like super intense like the other nitric oxide products. Like you feel like you're going to pass out, or, you're really like energized. It's very, very subtle, right? And what I notice is I really feel like my blood is circulating better. I feel like oxygen is getting to my muscles better when I'm doing my cardio, like if I'm doing a long run. Right now I only train Muay Thai and boxing. I haven't lifted weights in a long time, like 10 years. But I do pull-ups, dips, body weight exercises. So I'm doing more of a cardio-based workouts, if you want to call it that. But it's a great product. I feel like I'm getting much better circulation, like my blood is moving better, and it definitely helps with my stamina. So I'm going to tell you a little personal story of mine, why I'm totally against pharmaceutical drugs, anabolic steroids, anything that's not natural. So a few years ago, I was in excellent shape. I was lean and mean, a lot better shape than I am in now. And I was doing Muay Thai and boxing pretty much 5 days a week, back to back. And I was running hill sprints one day. Well, I was running hill sprints all the time as part of my conditioning, and I kept messing up my sneakers. So I went out and I bought a pair of cleats, and because I put the cleats on and I was doing hill sprints, and because the cleats weren't broken in, I was running on my toes the entire time, and I ended up tearing my calf. As ridiculous as it sounds. So I tore my calf, and I went to the doctor, and he was like, oh, don't worry about it. This is a common injury. Like this, I had a small little clot. In my calf from the tear. And he was like, don't worry about it. It's very common for the injury that you have. So I was like, all right. I healed up. I didn't really do any exercise. I had to wait for my calf to heal. But in that process, a few months later, I was really sick. I was bedridden. I couldn't get out of bed for like a month. And finally, I drove myself to the hospital because I couldn't breathe anymore. So, to kind of get to the point, I get to the hospital, and that blood clot that was in my calf went up into my lungs, gave me a pulmonary embolism, collapsed my left lung, killed like 17% of my left lung. I was in a hospital for a few months, and the doctor told me, point blank when I got there, he said, when you came in, you were in excellent cardiovascular shape. I could tell by your blood work. He's like, if you would have been on anabolic steroids, smoking cigarettes, drinking, anything that would have put any extra stress on your body, you would have been dead, because most people don't survive this injury. It's like, you're going to be here for a while, etc., etc. So I'm in the hospital, and my legs totally atrophied to the point where I couldn't even walk. They literally had to walk me around the hospital because they didn't want me to get more clots from being bedridden. I remember the day I left, I literally could not do one push-up. I looked terrible the day that I left. I was skinny as hell. I looked terrible. I felt terrible. So, some time goes by, and I start to heal a bit. But when I came home from the hospital, the doctor put me on Coumadin for blood clots. It was an injectable blood thinner. I had to give it to myself, like in my lower part of my stomach. And a couple weeks goes by. I'm giving myself the Coumadin, and I'm running into people, and they're like, "Man, did you stop working out? You look like shit. You look terrible. You look this. You look that." Everybody's saying it, right? And so I kind of blew it off because I haven't been to the gym. I was hospitalized, whatever. So then I joined another Muay Thai place, and it has boxing, and now I get back into my routine. I'm doing boxing and Muay Thai almost 2 hours a day, back-to-back classes, 5 days a week, and I'm looking worse and worse and worse. And the depression is setting in because I'm thinking to myself, it's one thing if you're home eating McDonald's or Burger King, you can kind of understand why you look like total shit. Now, this went on for a few years. This went on for 3.5, close to 4 years. And this was the turning point. One day I went into Walmart, of all places, to get razors. And when you go to Walmart, you pay at the register, and you can look and it's taking a picture of you like a camera. So I look into the thing. I didn't even recognize myself. My face was swollen. I had huge bags under my eyes. I was swollen as hell everywhere. I looked atrocious. And I said, you know what? F this. I can't do this anymore. I went to the original doctor, and I told him, like, I'm not taking this medication anymore. So he's like, well, I can't okay that. You might die. Just telling me all this bullshit. Because they want to keep you on these pharmaceutical drugs. So I go to another doctor, the doctor I'm with now, and she takes my blood, and she's like, have you ever been on anabolic steroids? And I'm like, no, why? And she's like, because your estrogen is high. And I'm like, she's like, what were they giving you at the hospital? I was like, well, they were giving me blood thinner. They were shooting me with prednisone. I was getting prednisone shots in my lungs. And she's like, well, there you go. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, prednisone isn't exactly testosterone, but it's a steroid. They were giving that to you to help you recuperate from your injuries. So it made your estrogen go through the roof. Then she tells me automatically, she's like, look, you're gonna stop taking the Coumadin. I'm gonna give you an anti-estrogen to bring your estrogen down. And what was the last thing she told me? She's like, have you ever had any thyroid issues? And I'm like, no, why? And she's like, well, this is kind of common. You've been through a lot of trauma. They're putting stuff in your body. She's like, your thyroid is operating at a very low levels. So she gives me a thyroid medication. So within 6 weeks, I stopped taking the Coumadin. I took the anti-estrogen to bring the estrogen down. I got on a thyroid medication, which I stopped taking. And I went completely looking back to the way that I used to. All the swelling in my face gone. Now look, I'm not a supermodel. I'm not trying to say that. But I slimmed down. Like, me personally, I feel like after that, my body was never the same. But I look a hell of a lot better now than I did for those almost 4 years. And during the course of that, when I tell you I was doing intense training, I mean, I still do Muay Thai / boxing. But it was... I was doing intense training when I looked like total shit. Like, super intense, 5 to 6 days a week, extra cardio on the side. I pretty much stopped lifting weights. I haven't lifted weights in 10 years. And So I go back to my doctor, and the doctor that I'm with now, and I couldn't thank her enough, because she basically saved my life. She gave my life back to me. So up until that point, with the injury, with the blood clots in my lungs, I've never had a steroid put into my body in my entire life. No testosterone, no growth hormone, no garbage whatsoever. And that actually saved my life when my lung collapsed, when those issues. So a lot of young people, they're putting all these pharmaceutical garbage in their bodies, and every time you put a pharmaceutical drug in your body, it might help one thing, but it's going to hurt another. So you got to keep taking all this different medication to keep fixing. You fix one issue, another issue happens. And it's just like a domino effect. It just keeps going around and around and around and around. So you need to stay natural. You need to use vitamins. You need to use herbs. If you have any type of issue, let's say erectile dysfunction, it could be anything. There is an herb for every single thing. There is a vitamin for every single thing. Do not put pharmaceutical drugs in your body, only if you're forced to and you have no other options, and then you need to come off it immediately. Why would I lie? I'm not getting paid by the supplement companies. I'm not getting paid by pharmaceutical companies. I'm just telling you from my experience what I've been through. I take supplements now, I take vitamins, and they work. I know they work because when I get my blood work and my blood work comes back, my blood work shows it working. I'm backing it up with science. If you would like me to post my blood work, no problem. Send me messages. I'll put it online so you can see it. But, when you see a 19-year-old or a 22-year-old on TRT, on steroids, on The Rock, you can blame people like The Rock. You can blame people like Michael Hearn. You can blame people like Rich Piana. They'll look you in the eye and they'll tell these young kids, "Oh, I've never taken steroids in my life." I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. Michael Hearn is a psychopath. Rich Piana was basically a drug addict. The Rock is no different than the drug addict, except for the drugs that he takes are anabolics. This is not the route to go. Eventually you're going to want to be healthy. Everybody wants to look their best. I understand that. But the most important thing is to be healthy. And if you're going to die at 40 from taking all these drugs, is it really worth it? No, it's not worth it. Stay natural. Do things the right way. I haven't lifted weights in at least 10 years. And I'm not saying I'm big or I'm like extra jacked or whatever. But the thickness that I have from doing it the right way has never went away. Now, I still do pull-ups with a weight vest. I still do dips. I still do body weight squats. But most of my training is boxing and Muay Thai. And I've pretty much retained all of the thickness that I gained through lifting weights. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. You see these big juice head guys. You see somebody like The Rock. He comes off the drugs. He looks terrible. He looks like he has cancer or something. They lose 80 to 50 to 100 pounds. When you do things the right way, you don't ever go through that. You don't ever go through that withdrawal. That thickness that you have, you're always going to maintain or retain that somewhat than a guy that, is juiced out of his mind. And the most important thing for guys that are natural, the most important things are this. Number one, good quality sleep. You need good quality sleep if you want to grow. Number two is your nutrition. You're not going to eat perfect all the time. You want to have your 3 or 4 meals a day that, you're eating as best as you can. And the last thing I would say is full range of motion when you're doing things. If you're squatting and you're not going butt to the floor, or when you're doing dips, you're not getting a full range of motion, or when you're bench pressing, you're not getting a full range of motion. As a person that's not on anabolic steroids, these movements will do nothing for you unless they're a full range of motion. You need to do everything full range of motion. You need to get a good night's sleep, and you need to have quality nutrition. Those are the 3 most important things for people that are natural. Cardio, I don't ever separate cardio from lifting weights. I don't look at it like, oh, you do a cardio based workout. I just do a workout. It's all intermingled. You know, your pressing movements, your pushing movements, and your cardio. Like if I was to lift weights again, my workout wouldn't be over until I did some form of running, sprinting, punching the heavy bag, doing something. So yeah, you know, you're gonna have to, if you're lifting weights, you're gonna have to lift weights and do a form of cardio. And if you're just doing boxing or Muay Thai, it would be a good idea to do some body weight exercises to retain some size. You know, dips, pull-ups, body weight squats, etc., etc. So the message today is stay away from the pharmaceutical drugs. One more thing, if you want to look up his name was Dr. Sebi, Sebi. He was pretty much saying all the things that I'm saying, and he mysteriously was killed. He sells some products online to keep you natural. Stay away from the pharmaceuticals. You know, if always try to stay away from pharmaceuticals as much as you can. Try to stay natural at all costs. You know, stay away from pharmaceutical drugs. You'll be healthier, you'll look better, and it's really you. You know, who gives a shit if you're 260 pounds on steroids with all these fake muscles and you're bench pressing 500 pounds, and as soon as you come off the drugs, you're 200 pounds and you can only bench press 300 pounds. Just be happy with what you have naturally. Because that other, you know, that other side to it, that's not really you. That's not who you are. You know, it's an act. It's a facade. You know, so stay away from the drugs, stay natural, and live a healthy lifestyle.